Hello, everybody. This is Fred from On Your Mark, Get Set, Bro. So, for this Survive Bro tip, we are going to make a fire starter. And this is what you'll need to do that. So, you're going to need some lighter fluid, some Gulf wax. You can find this at a grocery store, and you know it's weird because you wouldn't think that this Gulf wax would be in the gelatin, like the Jello section of a grocery store, but that's exactly where you'll find this. This is going to be found where you have the Jello mixes, the pudding mixes. It'll be in that section. At least where I go grocery shopping, that's where I find it. So Gulf wax, they sell it in a pack. It's a box like this, a box of, I think it has three. No, actually it has four. I've already used one, but there are 4 bars inside of this Gulf wax, and they look just like this. They're little blocks of wax, and it's like a paraffin wax. So you'll need Gulf wax. You'll need a container to melt the wax in, some tongs, preferably metal. These are actually makeup remover cotton rounds. You can find these, of course, in the makeup section of a grocery store or the makeup section of a drugstore. And you may want to get some Ziploc bags. And if you have some wax paper, that'll work as well. And some foil, because we're going to wrap these up for storage. And you'll also need something to heat or melt the wax in. I have a small stove that I use for camping. It's a butane stove. You'll see it here in a minute when we go outside and do all the prep work and we get to work on this. So more to come. We'll see you in a bit. Okay, so here we are. We're outside. Here's the stove, the butane stove that I talked about earlier. It runs off of these butane sterno canisters, these cartridges. So I put a metal plate over the burner to set my container on top of, because I don't want to put direct heat on it. It doesn't fit either. So I want to do this. I don't want to do it at a high heat. I want to do it at a low to medium so that it melts consistently and it doesn't burn. So we're going to put the canister in. I'm going to lock it in place. I'm going to turn on. Okay, I can hear it on. So I'm going to move it to medium. And I'm going to let it get up to temperature. But in the meantime, what I'm going to do is take one of these blocks of Gulf wax, and I'm going to cut it in sections because it will burn more evenly and quicker if you have it in pieces. So I'm going to go ahead and cut these, and I will be right back. Okay, we're back. I cut these into smaller sections, as you can see. I'm going to pop these in there. Now this is 1 bar. We're just going to make a few of them. You can use 2 bars to, of course, make more, but the ratio will be 50-50, meaning 50% melted wax and 50% lighter fluid. So we're going to let this melt. We'll let it work up. I'm going to drop the heat down a little bit, and we'll be right back. Okay, so you can see that the wax is completely melted. So what we're going to do now is turn off the heat. And I'm going to actually remove this container, because what I'm about to do is maybe a little dangerous. So we know that there's no fire going through that. So at this point, I'm going to leave the container on that hot plate because I'm going to pour in approximately, well, it should be 50-50. So I'm going to eye this, and you may actually have to practice doing this, because if the mixture is not just right, you may not get the correct results or the results we're looking for. So I'm going to put in about 50% lighter fluid. And by my estimates, that looks about right. That looks about right, 50-50. And I'm leaving it on the hot plate because I don't want it to cool down just yet. And that hot plate, of course, is still hot from the fire. So the next step is to make our fire starters. So stand by. Okay. So I removed the stove. We don't need it. And now we're going to start dipping these. So take out some pads. And we're going to start to dip them. Okay, so we're going to dip them. Take it out. Set it aside. Dip. Set it aside. And keep doing this until you run out of your mixture. Okay, we'll see how many we end up with here. And the beauty of this is that lighter fluid and the wax have no expiration date. Lighter fluid is made from petroleum, and it really, if you store it correctly in a airtight container, it'll last forever. So you don't have to worry about these going bad on you. And we're going to go ahead and keep dipping, and we'll see how many we end up with here. Okay, so it looks like I ended up with 33 of these pads, fire starter pads. Now letting them sit out will make them get hard, and that's what we want. We want to harden them. So it looks like these have already hardened enough where I can package them. And what we're going to do after this is do a test. Make sure that we have the correct ratio. So let me just flip these over. And then, see, these are still a little bit, and it could be because they're in the sun too. Temperature is probably in the low 60s right now, maybe upper 50s. Okay, so I took out one of the pads. I ended up with 5 bags, fire starter pads, the ones that we made. 4 of them have 6. The 5th one has 8, and this is one of them right here. It hardened up. So this is the mixture that we made. I'm going to do the test in my my grill, my smoker. So I'm going to use it. We don't need the magnesium. This is one of those magnesium fire starters. You scrape off the magnesium from here, and then this creates the spark. Okay, since we already have a fuel mixture in the pad, we don't need the magnesium. But I'm going to use this as a test only for the sparks. Okay, that's all we need. It's just the sparks. So even if you have one of those disposable lighters with the flint in it, you don't have to have fuel in it. Of course, the fuel helps, but if you don't have any fuel, just keep it, because you have the ability to create a spark with the disposable lighter. The flint will still be there. Um, and that's all you need to start one of these. So let's go ahead and do the test. And the way you do this is you take one, you split it open, okay? You split it open and expose the fibers in the pad, okay? Then we'll set it down, and then we're going to see if we have the mixture just right, just by using the sparks. There we go. That's all we used. And this will burn. It'll burn for a little while because it has the petroleum mixture and the wax, the petroleum being the lighter fluid, and the wax, the wax that we melted. And this should be enough to get a fire started. Okay, and you'll see, we're going to see how long it actually burns. But this should be enough. That's a good flame too. So I think we have the mixture just right. And as a disclaimer, I just want to reinforce the fact that you do not light this indoors. Okay, you should never light a fire indoors. This is for outdoor use only, and it's only if you are an adult or under adult supervision that you should be making these fire starters and lighting one. Okay, and again, I want to emphasize that these have no shelf life. These will last forever as long as you store them properly in an airtight container. And I don't recommend that you store them indoors. Maybe keep them in your garage, or if you keep them indoors, make sure you seal them in maybe a metal container that is sealed and away from children. So if you're able to keep them indoors, or if you can only keep them indoors, make sure that you can lock that container. Keep it away from kids. Because again, this should be done by an adult or adult supervision. And we're still on fire here, so this right here would be more than enough to get a fire going. And I've actually started my grill with one of these, just putting some wood on top of it and letting this burn out until the wood catches, and there you go. No lighter fluid needed. No flamethrower torch that you can buy and hook to a propane tank. So here we go. We're towards the end of it already, but you can see that lit up quickly. It only took one spark to get this going, and it stayed lit for a while, more than enough time to get a fire going. So again, this is how you do a fire starter for survival. And if you have any questions or comments on anything that I did, please share them in the comments section. And if you haven't already subscribed to the On Your Mark, Get Set Bro channel, I am asking if you can go in there, subscribe, give us a like, and hit that notification bell. It helps to spread the word. And we'll see you then.